So this is going to be a video, and this is a necessary video. Being 10 years into self-development, being 10 years into hundreds of thousands of dollars of seminars and hundreds of books or thousands of books or how many tens of thousands of YouTube videos, I finally understand what the word unconditional means, because we always hear it. Unconditional love, unconditional acceptance. What do you mean? Like, we understand like what it means theoretically. We understand what unconditional means, and we understand what love is, but them together is really, really hard, because you'll read a story where a murderer or someone's at court, and the family gets up and they say, "I forgive you. I forgive you, person that killed my daughter or my son or my husband or my wife. I forgive you." And you read that story and you're like, good for them, but that's not me. Or good for them, that's awesome that they got to that place. And then other people read it and like, that's insane. You are literally forgiving someone that took your loved one out of your life, that took something out of your life. You're really forgiving them? That's insane. And that is unconditional, okay? That means that, first let's talk about conditional. Anything. First of all, let's talk about conditional love for ourselves, and then love for other people, and then acceptance, okay? So number one is we feel, notice the word I use, we feel that if something good happens, then we like ourselves. We did something good. We gave a great presentation. We got an A on a test. We went to the gym. We ate well. We woke up early. We started a company. We got a new business partner. We got new business. We made a sales call. Whatever the case is, we closed the deal. I don't know, whatever makes you happy, that's conditional. Because something needed to happen for you to feel acceptance of yourself. But if you unconditionally love yourself or unconditionally love another person, whether they do something good or bad, you're like, whoa, no, Charles. What if they steal from me? Then that's conditional. That's conditional. All right? And that's the thing, is that it could be, you can either accept it or not. I think it was the Dalai Lama that literally unconditionally accepted the guards that were imprisoning him. Not the Dalai Lama, Nelson Mandela unconditionally prayed for the guards. Just unconditional love for the guards that were imprisoning him for what, 20-something years, or however long he was in prison. Just unconditional love. Most people would say, when something happens, I will feel love for that person. They said, I love you, so I love them. I got new business, so I'm happy. That person said yes, so yeah, I like them. Or they accept me, so I accept them. Here's an idea. If you actually truly, and listen, I'm not, Mother Teresa, all right? I'm just saying this is the actual definition, number one. Number two is, this is what I'm working on, because I didn't accept myself. I only accepted myself when something good happened, okay? I went to the gym, or I woke up early, or I ate healthy, or I made a sales call. And that's when I conditionally liked myself. But if you unconditionally love yourself, if you unconditionally like yourself, it's when you maybe screw up, when you feel pain, when someone breaks up with you, when someone curses you out, when you lose the loved one. And I'm not saying that it's challenging. Okay, I'm not saying that. But to blame yourself, which is what I always did, was that you're conditionally saying only when something good happens is when you will feel good. Okay, so unconditional love for their son is when their son steals or their son does something. I'm not saying discipline or good and bad or anything like that. I'm just saying the actual love for that person. And that's what Nelson Mandela experienced, or maybe even Mother Teresa, or even the Buddha or Jesus, or, I know I'm bringing up religious figures, but that's really where the spirituality comes from, is you have to unconditionally, regardless of good or bad, or they're in prison, or they're an inmate, or they're just not a good person. And by the way, a good person is all a construct of humans. We constructed what's good and what's bad. There's nothing in the universe that says good or bad, okay? So what we have to understand is that we first have to be aware of what is conditional and what is unconditional for ourselves, so we accept ourselves a little bit more. I didn't accept myself literally up until this year. You know, like at times I would, but it wasn't unconditional. Okay, I'm 31. I'm turning 32, okay? So to go 31 years of not accepting myself unconditionally, that is insane, okay? So if you're younger and you are watching this, you have to be aware of when you're conditionally accepting yourself and when you're not, when you are conditionally accepting yourself, and try to get to the place where you say, oh, okay, like, oh, you know, I snoozed my alarm, or I didn't go to the gym, not a big deal, I'll go tomorrow. So that's the thing is, if I didn't go to the gym, say up like last year or literally every year up until then, I would beat myself up. I would say, stupid Charles, what are you doing? You're eating like shit. You're supposed to be a role model. You're supposed to be running this company. You're supposed to be making sales goals. You're supposed to approach that pretty girl at the bar. You idiot, what are you doing? You're not worthy, you're stupid, or whatever. Whatever self-talk I would think of. And when I would do something good, I would be like, oh yeah, Charles, you're the man, dude. You're the freaking man, bro. And that was the thing is, I conditionally liked myself when I did something good. Now, when I don't do anything that or when I do something that I don't want to do, or say I eat a piece of pizza, which I don't really like pizza, but say, I don't know, like bread, or I don't know, sweets, I don't really like sweets, or say I drink too much. That's a perfect example. I go out and I say, I'm not going to drink. And then I go out and I drink too much. I have to accept that I did that and still can unconditionally like myself, because if I say, you know what, Charles, you're an idiot, you're putting it on a condition. So I'm just looking down at my notes. Unconditional love for yourself is when you screw up and when you do something good. Okay, it's both. Even when you do something good, don't feel even better about yourself. Like, yeah, reward yourself, but it's also unconditional love for other people, whether they don't put out the garbage, whether they, and this is the thing, is that a lot of people look at it as black and white. This is a whole big gray area of just complete acceptance for how things are, because what we do, and what I was talking about in the two other books, the reviews that I did before, is that we try and change the outside world. We try and make the world perfect. Like, what are you trying, like all the social issues have to be the way you think they should be. The other political party should be the way you think it should be. I should be making this amount of money. And I'm like, say this is a list and not like, you know, a hierarchy or whatever. I should be, or the world should be. That's all on conditions, okay? So unconditional love, good or bad, unconditional acceptance of good and bad, unconditional love and acceptance of yourself, other people, your spouses, your coworkers, your boss, and everything else. Because you're trying to change the boss that you don't like. You're trying to change the spouse or the relationship that you're in. You're trying to change them to be someone different. Unconditional love. I know it's challenging. I work on it literally every single day, every single moment. Anytime that something happens in my life, I say, I breathe it. This is what I do. I breathe it in. I feel it. And I say, okay, how do I respond? I was yelled at twice yesterday by clients that pay me. And it was a pretty healthy yell. It wasn't like, Charles, I don't really like you. It was a pretty healthy yell. And this is the funny thing is, I accepted it. What am I going to do? Yell back at them? That doesn't make the problem better. So I accepted it. I'm like, oh, okay, it sounds like you're kind of angry about what happened and everything else. You know, let's look at the solution. Like, how are we solution oriented? Don't dwell on the problem. Look at the solution. Through osmosis on a telephone call, they actually calmed down. We came to a solution. They said, thank you. That was unconditional, man. So every single day, work on it. Unconditional love, good and bad, whether something really good or bad happens, unconditional love, which is the most important thing. Because if you love other people but you don't love yourself, it's really hard to give love. You can't give what you don't have. Abundance, love, humor, things like that. If you don't, feel that inside and you're trying to change the outside world to be humorous or loving or whatever, but you don't have love yourself, have an awesome day. I know that I said that was a quick video, but that was 10 minutes in. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Talk to you guys soon.